everyone, welcome back to Velvet Moments. Las Vegas was glowing long before the city lights even appeared beneath the airplane window. Somewhere above the endless clouds, 7 familiar souls were quietly making their way back to a place filled with memories, emotions, and unfinished moments waiting to happen again. And somehow, ARMY could feel it. The moment BTS arrived in Las Vegas, the internet instantly transformed into chaos wrapped in excitement. Photos spread within seconds, videos flooded timelines, and fans everywhere began piecing together every tiny detail as if trying to hold on to the beginning of another unforgettable chapter. But beyond the flashing cameras and airport updates, there was something softer hidden inside this arrival. Something warmer. Because this trip didn't just feel like another schedule. It felt like coming home. From the airplane window, the bright blue sky stretched endlessly while the wings moved calmly through the clouds. Fans couldn't stop replaying those small clips because there was something strangely comforting about them. It almost felt like traveling beside BTS in silence, witnessing those quiet moments before the noise of concerts, interviews, and screaming crowds began all over again. Even the luxury vehicles waiting outside somehow became part of the excitement. Every little detail suddenly mattered because ARMY knew Las Vegas has always held a special place in BTS' story. The city carries memories of purple oceans, emotional performances, exhausted smiles backstage, and nights where both BTS and ARMY seemed to breathe together under the same lights. And now, they were back again. But what touched fans the most recently wasn't the arrival itself. It was Jungkook. Or more specifically, the people Jungkook said he leans on the most. During a recent conversation, Jungkook casually revealed that whenever he needs advice or emotional support, the two people he naturally turns to are Jimin and RM. It was such a simple answer. Yet somehow, it carried years of unspoken comfort inside it. Because fans have always noticed the quiet way Jungkook looks at Jimin whenever he laughs too hard, the way RM listens carefully whenever the members speak, the way their bond feels less like co-workers and more like people who truly grew up side by side through every exhausting chapter of life. Especially between Jungkook and Jimin, there has always been something incredibly gentle. Not loud. Not forced. Just familiar. The kind of closeness that no longer needs explanations. And during BTS' recent livestream, fans got to witness that warmth again in the softest way possible. There was no grand concept. No serious agenda. Just 7 people sitting together laughing like old friends after a long day. The atmosphere felt unusually intimate. Almost like ARMY had accidentally walked into a late-night dinner conversation between people completely comfortable around each other. Their voices overlapped naturally, random jokes interrupted serious topics, and every small interaction somehow became unforgettable. At one point, RM started telling a story about rehearsals for Run BTS. He explained that JHope became so energetic while dancing that his sunglasses literally flew off mid-performance. Before he could even finish explaining, everyone burst into uncontrollable laughter. Then V admitted that he once lost his necklace during practice because his movements were too intense. And suddenly the livestream no longer felt like a broadcast. It felt like home videos between people who knew every version of each other. But somehow, the moment fans couldn't stop talking about involved Jimin and Jungkook again. While discussing military life, Jimin shared one small story that instantly melted everyone's hearts. According to Jimin, during night guard duty, there were times when he had to wake Jungkook up for the next shift. But Jungkook, still half asleep, would simply make tiny sleepy sounds without actually opening his eyes. Jimin said he would keep calling his name again and again. Yet Jungkook would continue responding in the softest voice imaginable while barely awake. The members laughed immediately. But ARMY completely lost it. Because the image felt so unbelievably soft. Jimin patiently trying to wake Jungkook up in the middle of the night. Jungkook sleepily answering him without even opening his eyes yet. The quiet familiarity between them hidden inside such an ordinary moment. It wasn't dramatic. And maybe that's exactly why it felt so emotional. Sometimes the smallest stories reveal the deepest kind of closeness. As the live stream continued, the conversation slowly drifted toward food, travel, and random late-night thoughts. RM showed a pizza recommendation from Taehyung while JHope admitted he had already visited the restaurant twice because he loved it that much. Meanwhile, the members kept teasing each other non-stop. RM jokingly compared Jimin's appearance to Legolas from The Lord of the Rings, immediately causing everyone to laugh again while Jimin shyly smiled through the chaos. And honestly, moments like that are exactly why fans love watching them together. Because no matter how massive BTS becomes, there are still these tiny glimpses where they feel exactly the same as they did years ago. Comfortable, chaotic, safe with each other. At another point, the conversation somehow turned into a confusing discussion about Rome, Berlin, and Italy. RM mentioned wanting to try authentic Italian pizza someday with all the members together, while Taehyung looked genuinely excited imagining the trip. For a few seconds, it almost sounded like they were seriously planning a vacation. Until Jimin burst into laughter and clarified that there were absolutely no plans at all. And somehow that tiny interaction felt weirdly precious too, because it showed how naturally they still dreamed together, even in random conversations. The live stream later became softer and more emotional when the members started talking about family. Jimin quietly mentioned that he hadn't visited his parents in a long time. When JHope carefully asked about Jimin's father's condition, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Jimin reassured everyone that his father was doing much better now. And for a brief moment the teasing disappeared. RM looked genuinely relieved. The members smiled softly. And fans everywhere could feel just how much they care for one another beyond cameras and performances. Even the funniest moments somehow carried warmth inside them. When one fan suddenly commented, "Daddy Namjoon," the entire room exploded into laughter while RM immediately became shy and clarified that he was still single. Taehyung and JHope could barely stop laughing. Meanwhile, RM looked completely defeated by the comments section. It was chaotic, embarrassing, and incredibly human. The members also reflected on how different they all are during tours. RM enjoys visiting museums and restaurants, while Jimin, Taehyung, and JHope usually prefer resting quietly at the hotel. Then the conversation shifted to Jungkook again. RM mentioned that Jungkook rarely calls him Rapmon Hyung anymore and feels much more mature after military service. The room briefly became quieter after that. Because in many ways, they've all changed. They've grown older, more careful, more reflective. And yet somehow when they sit together laughing like this, it still feels exactly the same. That's probably why fans became emotional near the end of the livestream when BTS started talking about older songs like Just One Day, Go Go Dang and Louder Than Bombs. Especially Louder Than Bombs. Taehyung pointed out that the song has never been performed live before, while RM excitedly mentioned that it was co-written with Troye Sivan. And suddenly fans everywhere began hoping again. Hoping for another unforgettable stage. Another emotional night. Another moment where BTS stands beneath purple lights while thousands of voices sing back to them. Before ending the livestream, RM joked about how romantic it would be to propose to someone during a Coldplay concert. But before the moment could even become serious, Taehyung immediately asked, "What if you get rejected?" And just like that, the room collapsed into laughter again. That's the magic of BTS. One second they make you emotional. The next second they make you laugh so hard you forget why you were emotional in the first place. As the live stream slowly came to an end, the members exchanged soft goodbyes while preparing for their next journey in Las Vegas. No dramatic speeches. No perfectly scripted ending. Just smiles. Comfortable silence. And the kind of warmth that lingers long after the screen goes dark. Maybe that's why fans can never truly move on from moments like these. Because beyond the stadiums, records, and global fame, BTS still feels like 7 people quietly growing through life together. And somewhere inside all those little interactions, especially the gentle moments between Jimin and Jungkook, fans continue finding comfort they can't fully explain. Now all eyes are on Las Vegas once again. And somehow, this feels like only the beginning of another unforgettable Velvet Moments chapter sparkles.